Hello everyone, today I'm going to be talking about West Giles Peacock Springs State Park. The sign you see here is located right at the entrance by the street. There is a gate. When I went, the gates were just open. You see yourself in. There's a envelope box. It's kind of on the honor system, but there is I believe a state park like a DNR police that monitors the area, makes sure that people are properly certified and that they've paid their entrance fees. Once you get inside, it's pretty much just dirt road. Right across from the box, the drop box is Orange Grove. And then if you continue down that road, you'll get to a parking area where you'll find this walkway. The walkway takes you over to Peacock 1. Halfway there, you'll see this sign. If there ever is an emergency, this is all the information you'll need to provide and who to call. But the walkway, as I was saying, leads you all the way to the steps for Peacock 1, just to the left of where this walkway ends is Peacock 2 and Peacock 3. I think Peacock 1 is probably one of the most popular of the three, the location that's dove the most out of the three, I believe, but I'm not sure about that. So that's the steps leading down to it. Just below the steps is the entrance. So after you dive in, you just swim down and back underneath the steps, and the entrance to the cave is easily, you can find it very easily. So this is a map of that entrance and the route that we took. We were on the Peanut line, went back about 1,500 feet to Fred's Rock. So that red line is approximately where our route went. Fred's Rock is or was named after, I believe, one of the locals lost their dog and saw the rock, which is roughly a silhouette of a dog, and then they began calling it Fred's Rock, I think. At least that's what I remember Leanne telling me. Speaking of Leanne, I'll come back to the cave system here in a moment. Speaking of Leanne, that is not heard from there. That is Paul. I met Leanne and Paul in the parking lot that morning. They were coming to dive the Peanut line. We're planning on doing that exact dive that I showed on the map. I approached them as they were the only two people in the parking lot that early Saturday morning, and asked them about the cave system. I didn't want to go in without having any background information on what I was getting into. The plan that I had was to dive to Olson Sink from Peanut 1. Previous online information told me that it was about 1,500-1,600 feet back, and then 1,500-1,600 feet from there back to the Peanut 1 entrance. I have done that length of dive excuse me, multiple times, and I knew I could do it on 1/3 of my gas there and back, so the distance did not bother me one bit, and then doing it solo wasn't too much of a concern. Excuse me. Either, since I have redundant air and more than enough gas to do the entire dive on one tank, much less two tanks. In any case, they told me about the cave system. They said that it was a straight shot back to Olson Sink on the main line. There were no jumps or T's or anything that I would have to worry about. However, they did inform me that solo diving was not allowed at state parks. They said that it is allowed in most private cave systems, privately owned cave systems, generally because they have a waiver that you sign, and there's that release of liability. However, because there is no one at the gate checking, having you fill out any kind of liability waivers or anything like that, it just wasn't allowed at state parks all across Florida. So that applies everywhere. They told me I was more than welcome to dive solo if I wanted to. However, the Department of Natural Resources Police that do patrol the area, obviously if they see you diving solo, they'll kick you out, and you don't want that. So follow the rules, have a dive buddy, don't be like me. In the end, I opted to dive with them because I thought it would be a good time to just kind of be given a tour. They told me that they had dove that particular route hundreds of times, so I figured for my first dive it probably would be beneficial to be shown the area anyway, and it worked out great. They're two very good divers, as you can see. That's now Leanne in front of me. We're on our way out, so I was the middle diver, and when we reached Fred's Rock, Paul turned to dive based off of his thirds, which he knew he would hit once hitting the rock, and we turned around. So then I followed Leanne back out. Like I said, the line leading back, the Peanut line as well as the Olson Sink line, there are no markers indicating jumps. If you look at the map for the Peacock Springs system, there are quite a bit of tunnels that shoot off from the main tunnels. As a matter of fact, I think that's probably a tunnel right there to the right. However, we did not leave the main line. We followed it straight back, approximately 1,500 feet or so, and then turned to dive. They said that recently the line either was moved or changed, and that the markers had been either taken out or they were no longer there for whatever reason. She didn't know. Leanne wasn't sure why they had been removed, but my guess is to keep the tourists from going dives they shouldn't. I guess maybe force people into doing more progressive penetration diving than just trying to go 2,000 plus feet in without first doing some progressive dives. In any case, to get more information on where those side tunnels that connect various tunnels together are, you could always stop by the dive shop. I believe it's called the Dive Post. It's literally like 5 minutes from Peacock Springs. Talk to the good folks there. I'm sure they'd be more than happy to provide any information that they have to fully cave certified divers. Speaking of certifications, Peacock Springs is a cave system. There are very few open water areas, and there are a lot of signs entering the park that indicate that at the bare minimum you should have a cavern certification to dive there. I believe Orange Sink, which is right at the entrance, has a large cavern area. We did not dive that. that day. I went with an open water diver buddy of mine, and we did not dive it just because it was covered in like green moss. My buddy had some concerns about losing light and so on and so forth. So he opted out, which was good for him, and I ended up diving peanut line with these new dive friends that I met there. What else can I tell you about this place? It's pretty interesting system. There isn't a whole lot of silt here. Even back in the old, more open areas, the bottom seems to be like a black rock. It looks like black silt, but it wasn't. I kind of grabbed a couple chunks. It almost felt like lava rock, but I don't expect it to be lava rock since there are no volcanoes in this area. But it was very hard, sharp, black rock. The water's been moving through these tunnels for a very long time, so most of the loose sediment has been pushed out, I suspect. As you can see, this tight area here, where it's kind of inevitable not to bump on things, you get a little bit of like rock dust or like particles that get kicked up, but it's very, very minimal. Obviously, you still want to practice good finning techniques and so on when diving these caves, because there are some very silty caves in Florida. However, I did not find this one to be very silty at all. Speaking of silt, Leanne mentioned that this particular day, the visibility wasn't very good. I'm not sure what they're used to. This was my first cave dive in Florida, but the visibility here was pretty great as far as my standards go. But apparently it is extremely crystal the majority of the time, but the water level appeared to be pretty high on this day. As a matter of fact, if the water reaches the steps at the end of that wood walkway, if it reaches the top step, the water level's pretty high. Normally, she says you have to long stride into the water. So maybe that's an indicator of what the visibility is going to be. But if you're used to the Midwest visibility that we have up here, this is pretty good, I would say. As far as accommodations, we stayed at Hidden Oaks RV and Campground in Mayo, as I mentioned. It's about a 10-minute drive here, so if you plan on camping, it was a great location. Very close to the spring, and the owners that run the place are very nice people, very accommodating. I would definitely stay there again. As far as food, there's not a whole lot in Mayo, especially with COVID. There were a lot of places that were closed. I think some of them were permanently closed, unfortunately. But we did find a very cool cafe right in Mayo, called Hornets Cafe. You can Google it. They were open bright and early in the morning. Stopped by there, grabbed some coffee, grabbed a bagel, and then shot over to the spring to get my dive down. This section of the cave here is the entrance. When you come in, there's the entrance. You can either go right or left. Immediately inside that entrance is the main line tie-off. You can probably reach in and grab it from open water, so they don't generally tie off, at the surface. I've read in various forums that they do this for various reasons. One, being that the line is literally right arm's length from the entrance. And two, I've read that it's to keep open water divers from being tempted too much and following that line in where they shouldn't. Right here where I'm shining my light is where the line goes over to the Olsen Sink line, or that is the main line leading over to Olsen Sink. I was also told that it does not break off or tee off or anything like that. You just follow that until it ends and look up and you're pretty much at Olsen Sink. I included this dive profile because I just think that cave dive profiles are pretty cool. It's a mirror image in and out, which is pretty interesting. Nothing like open water wreck dives or anything like that. And then I wanted to include this picture again because it was just a very spectacular entrance to this cave. It just looks so tropical and awesome. If you get a chance to dive here and you're cave certified, definitely should be added to your to-do bucket list. Great place. Awesome diving. Take care.